Many international students choose to do part-time jobs while studying here in Australia. That makes sense as it helps them to pay their bills. So in this video, we are going to look at some of the most popular industries where students work in and some of the most popular employers within those industries. And along with that, we'll give you some important information and tips you'll need for each of these industries. Now, before we get started talking about these industries, here are some quick reminders for all of international students who are planning to work in Australia. First one is regarding your work hour limitations. Most of you would already know, but you need to be mindful of your work hour limit, which is 48 hours in a fortnight when your study is in session and unlimited work hours when you are on official school holidays. Also, there is a minimum wage for each of the industries and jobs here in Australia. So you should be getting a minimum wage based on the type of job you're doing, your age, and some other factors. You want to check more details regarding your minimum wage in your industry? I suggest you to check Fair Work Australia's website, where they provide details regarding the minimum wage for each of the industries here in Australia. We will leave a link of a page where you can find these minimum wages in the description box below. And last but not the least, most of the international students either do part-time work or casual work. The major difference between the two is with the part-time work, you get some entitlements such as sick leave, annual leave, and so on, and also guaranteed work hours in a week or a fortnight. With the casual jobs, you are not guaranteed any work hours, but you usually get a higher pay rate than if you are doing a part-time work. And if you are working as casual, you usually don't get any leave entitlement. Now, that being done and dusted, let's look at some of these industries, popular employers, and some important tips. The first industry we have on our list is the most popular industry when it comes to finding part-time work here in Australia for international students, and that's hospitality. Majority of the international students usually find it easier to find job in this industry because it provides a lot of flexibility to international students. Especially when they have to study during the daytime or in the evening, they can choose to work in the morning or evening depending upon that. And obviously there are plenty of hospitality employers that hire international students. Now, some of the popular ones include McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, KFC, the most popular fast food, Starbucks, Nando's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, Grilled, Guzman and Gomez, Gloria Jeans, the Coffee Club, and many local cafes and restaurants. Often these small restaurants and cafes put their job ads on local Facebook groups or Gumtree. Many of these local cafes and restaurants hire via walk-in as well, where people just walk in and drop their resume and get hired basically doing that. If you would like to know more about how to drop in your resume correctly, we've got this very popular video on our channel. It's a very detailed video with a step-by-step instructions on what to do. We'll leave a link of that in the description box below. Here are a couple of things you need to keep in mind when looking for some work in hospitality industry. First one, that some of these employers that we just mentioned might be hiring younger students than the older ones. So there is a possibility that, specifically speaking, some of these fast food stores, they prefer to hire younger students just because they have to pay less money to those students, because the minimum wage varies by the age as well. And also keep in mind that you might need sometimes a certification to work in some of these venues. Certifications like RSA or barista courses might be required in order to work in some of these venues. If you would like to do some of these short courses, we'll leave a link of that in the description as well. Moving on to the next popular industry, which is retail. I used to work myself in retail industry, so I know a fair bit about it. To start with, we're going to have a look at different sort of retailers and different parts of this industry. First one is supermarkets. Some of the popular places to work are Coles, Woolworths, Aldi, and IGA. While Coles, Woolworths, Aldi usually put their ads up on their website for the job hiring, IGA is usually different because they are independently owned. So you can try also walking into local IGA store and ask them if they have any job opportunities available. However, with Coles, Woolworths, and Aldi, they have a pretty standard hiring processes, and you can find those jobs on their own website. I used to work with Woolworths. One of my first employments here in Australia was with the Woolworths supermarket, and it was a pretty good stable job that paid really well during my student life. And comparing to hospitality jobs, it was a bit easier as well. Now, the next area is departmental stores. So popular employers include Myers, David Jones, Kmart, Target, Big W, Best and Less. These are some of the most popular department stores. Moving on to our fashion retail. So some of the popular retails in fashion are Cotton On, Typo, Factory, H&M, Uniqlo, Zara, and many others. And last but not the least is electronics. Here we have retail retailers like JB Hi-Fi, Office Work, and The Good Guys. As I mentioned earlier, some of these retailers usually post the jobs on their own website rather than advertising on some typical job portals. And many of these retailers usually expect people to have a local work experience. So it might be a bit challenging at the start to get into these retailers, especially if you have no references. And if you do have a reference, it can work wonders. Now moving on to our next booming sector for international students, which is aged care. Many students end up doing part-time work in aged care sector because there are plenty of opportunities available. However, if you are going to work in aged care sector, you need to be quite empathetic and caring, as you are going to look after elders. And also very importantly, you need to have attention to detail. Now in terms of some of the popular employers and aged cares in Australia, we have Ality Aged Care, R-Care, Blue Cross, Bupa, Regis, Estia, Japara, and Southern Cross Care. If you are going to work in aged care, you must have the right qualification. The minimum qualification required is Certificate 3 in Individual Support, Aging, and you will also need a police check to work in this industry. Along with aged care, there is another very popular industry where a lot of international students find work, which is disability support. It is also a part of a healthcare sector, and you need to have all those skills and knowledge that I just mentioned earlier, like attention to detail, caring, and empathetic as well. Here are some of the popular employers in disability support sector. First one is NDIS, which is National Disability Insurance Scheme, where you can get self-managed clients. Then there are some other platforms like HireUp, which also helps you to match these support workers with the client. Mabel is another popular platform to find clients. Life Without Barriers and Scope Australia are a couple of other options. If you are going to work in this industry, it is better if you have a certification, which is Certificate 3 or 4 in Individual Support, Disability. If you're going to work with NDIS, you also need to do NDIS worker screening check, and usually you're expected to also have a first aid certificate. The next industry we have on our list is cleaning. Again, one of the most popular and quite decently paid jobs. When it comes to finding a cleaning jobs in Australia, most of the international students find it through local subcontractors. Places like Gumtree, Airtasker, or even word of mouth helps to find those jobs. But apart from that, there are some recruitment agency or cleaning agencies that you can check upon for finding work in cleaning. That includes ISS Facility Services, Spotless Group, Daxo, and Jim's Cleaning Group. When working in cleaning industry, one of the important things to keep in mind that you might be offered cash in hand jobs, but just be very careful with taking those jobs, as they are usually paid below the minimum wage standards. And obviously, without saying, these cash in hand jobs are usually illegal. Next industry on our list is tutoring. Now, tutoring can be a great option for international students, and many international students do work as a tutors. The benefit of working as a tutor is that you don't really need to do a lot of physical work. Most of the time, you will be in an office environment or at home when teaching or tutoring kids. And you can tutor primary kids, secondary kids, or even university kids as well. Some of the popular employers or platforms where you can find work in tutoring includes Kumon, which provides after-school math or English tutoring, Cluey Learning, which is great for online tutoring. Obviously, you're going to teach university students. You can look up some of those opportunities on your university website as well, as they may offer some of these tutoring positions on their website. And there are other private tutoring platforms where you can tutor kids privately. Some of them are Tutor Finder, Earnmate, and even on Gumtree. The best part with the tutoring is you can also advertise independently on different platforms. So you don't necessarily need to be employed by someone to do the tutoring. Especially if you are good in STEM subjects, these subjects are highly sought by parents and students. Last but not the least industry on our list is construction. One of the best paying industries, but very physically challenging and demanding as well. Now, there are so many moving avenues in construction. That includes construction cleaning, building and construction, and traffic management. And you can find multiple opportunities within the construction and trades. Some of the popular recruitment agencies where you can find work in construction are Hayes, People to You, Randstand, and Drake International. Obviously, you can look up for some other recruitment agencies in your local areas as well. With the construction industry, it's important to note that you must have a white card, which is mandatory for all construction work here in Australia. And you'll usually need to also have a protective gear, which includes safety boots, safety glasses, helmets, vest, and so on. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a decent physical strength to work in construction industry. So these were some of those industries and some of the popular employers or platforms or recruitment agencies vacancies where you can find part-time work in Australia. Many international students are already working in some of these industries that we just mentioned. Now we got a dedicated job board page on our website where you can find some of these employees that we just mentioned and many others as well. So if you are looking for some part-time work, check the link in the description box below where we got a link for this job board. Now, as I mentioned in this video, there are few short courses that you can do if you are looking for some part-time work here. If you are interested, I suggest you to watch this video here where I mention some of these short courses that you can do that can help you land that part-time work. So if you want to know more, click the video over there and I'll see you there.